you're very welcome back to part 2 as we leave the town of Oldcastle for a short while and head to the outskirts of the town to meet Ety Schuurmans, who owns an ethical pork farm, as she explains the work involved to single-handedly run a busy animal farm.
So I just came to Ireland basically for a job. I had been working and living in Africa for a long time, and I came back to the Netherlands. I didn't really fit in there anymore. Maybe I never did in the first place. So I was, English speaking, and I started looking at English international ads, and I ended up finding the Wel-Women's. I'm originally a medical doctor, so I found a job in the Wel-Women's in Coolock. And that's where I started for about a year. And from there on I moved into the HSE in Navan because I was trying to get away from the city. And I worked again in the HSE in Dundalk, in Meath for about 10 years. Until I finally had enough of it and I got out. And I had the good thing about that was that I was actually the area medical officer in this area. So that is how I found the house.
Wow.
So that was lucky in a way. Yeah.
And how did you get involved with ethical pork farming?
That's basically, so since I left my job I was nearly 60 and I thought, right, let's do something else. I had enough of it, and I have always liked animals, and that's why I have this place. It's about an acre around the house. I'm doing the kind of stone restoration and all these kind of things, but the idea was to live in the middle of animals, and I then started thinking, can I do something with this acre? So I was at several courses on the Organic Center. That's how I learned planting hedges and repairing stone walls and looking after hens and those kind of things. And there was I remember a course on smallholding, where the emphasis was on rare breeds like Kerry cows or Tamworth pigs and those kind of things. And so I started thinking in that way. And then I had advice from Tjagers, who said it's easier to start with pigs only. Don't mix them with cows. It gets too complicated. Because with cows you need TB testing and it's a whole different story. So they advised me to start with pigs because it's easier to get started. The Department for Agriculture comes out and wants to know where you keep your pigs. And that was easy enough. They said, oh, you have already animals like hens and so. So that's how I started. Wow. With pigs then.
And like the pigs that we've seen today, I mean, they're gorgeous. They're like a ginger pig. Can you tell us what kind of pig they are?
It's an Tamworth pig or Irish grazer, so a traditional Irish pig. Long noses, long feet, very intelligent, very smart animals. Perfectly good for digging with their long noses. So very active pig. And they taste extremely good compared to, you have other rare breeds like the saddleback. Most people would know the saddleback, the black and white with the floppy ears, or the Gloucester Old Spot. They look all very nice, but they get very, very fat. The Tamworths are more active and the taste is extremely good.
And like people, I mean, I know myself, like I didn't realise that pigs were diggers. There's kind of a common misconception about pigs.
Yeah, there's a lot of misconception. People straight away think they're smelly animals and they're stupid and they're dirty. I don't understand myself. Maybe they don't have the looks. It seems like a big animal on short legs. That's maybe just unfortunate, but the animals are, compared to my other animals, if you talk about unhygienic animals, I would say hens in the first place. But pigs will, they keep their houses completely clean. I only have to top up with straw. If it rains where the pigs are in the forest, if it starts raining, I run into their calf hutch and sit on the straw. There's no problem. It stay completely dry while they're eating outside. You hope they're not running in as well.
And like you mentioned the forest there, which is a very unique aspect to have pigs and piglets roaming in a forest environment. Can you tell me about the access or how much of that land you own?
I don't own any of that land. It's a very good neighbor who I know for a long time. They're cattle farmers, and they have given me access to 25 acres of a young forest plantation. I pay them in pork, of course. I feed them plenty of sausages and other things, and Christmas hams. And it's a very good kind of working relationship. I get a lot of help from him as well. Like sometimes there is a big bin standing there which can take about half a ton of feed, and sometimes the weather is so bad, it's a very inaccessible place that I cannot drive in, so he then goes with his tractor, takes the bin back out, and I drive up with my pickup full of feed and I fill the bin. He then brings the bin back to where the pigs are. So he's very helpful.
And Ety, you also, for people that are interested in finding out more on ethical pork, how do they find out about you?
I have a website, www.ethicalpork.com, very easy, ethicalpork.com, so you can find me there. I sell every Friday at Leopardstown in Dublin Farmers Market, and every Saturday I'm in Dundalk at the Square. And I'm trying to sell online. The only problem is that I have not yet found a courier that can transport frozen meat. So that hasn't taken off yet, but I have the two places then. And people can also come here to the farm and look at the animals. And it's an open farm. If they email me, they can come and see the animals and buy from here directly.
And finally,